for this week's Gotta Try It, I'm going to teach you guys some martial arts. It's not a very camp-like activity, but I mean, we're all pretty bored. And what I'm doing to keep myself busy is I'm practicing my martial arts. So I figured I'd teach you guys some too. I've been doing martial arts for almost 12 years now. I'm a second degree black belt. Just got my second degree in the fall. And it's like, I love it. I love it a lot. When I'm not at camp, you know, school year and stuff, I go to my dojo and I teach in my spare time. I take my own classes. So yeah, I'm just going to teach you guys a few moves and, you know, we'll see how it goes. So the first thing, we bow in martial arts. Martial arts has a lot to do with like respect for yourself and others, you know, focus, self-discipline, all that stuff. So bowing is very important. So what we do, there's some symbolism in the bow because, you know, so you take your right hand, you make a fist that symbolizes power. Your left hand is open, symbolizes peace, and we just do peace over power because we don't want you going around beating everybody up with your awesome martial arts skills that you're about to learn. So peace over power, you put your feet together and you kind of just bow. That's the whole thing. It's called our front position. Next, I'll teach you guys like a basic stance. It's called a horse stance. It's called that because it's like if you're riding on a horse. I've never ridden on a horse, so like I don't know how accurate it is, but I'm gonna assume it's pretty good. So if you're just standing normally, you take your feet, you move them a little bit past shoulder width. So like my feet are about here, my shoulders are obviously here, and you bend your knees just like that. Make sure you keep your back up straight. Try not to lean forward too much, backwards. Sometimes people have trouble with the balance. You know, you get better at it, and then you can keep your back up straight, which is important. Make sure your toes are pointing forward. Sometimes it's easier if you're not really thinking about it for your toes to point out to the sides. It's not really good for your knees or your balance. So make sure your toes point forward. Bend your knees. They don't have to be super bent. You don't have to be super low, but also don't keep them straight. That's a big issue. It's if you're sitting in a while for your legs start to burn. So just make sure you're focused on your legs because it's kind of called like the unmovable stance because you can't really move yourself. If you kind of throw a punch too hard, you might lose balance. Somebody else might come in at you. So your knees bent are really important, but also if they're like getting tired, you know, take a break, stand up, stretch them out. And then next is elbow position. What we do is you make fists and you put them right here next to your waist. Make sure that your palms are facing up just like this. And that's your elbow position. So now maybe I'll teach you a few strikes. So our first one is our most basic one. It's called a front and upper punch. When you punch, when you make a fist, obviously make sure your thumb's tucked in. Don't do this, that's bad for you. You gotta punch with these two knuckles right here. These two, they're smaller, you might hurt yourself. So we call them the big two knuckles. So all that strike is I'm in my horse stance, my hands are tucked in. It's just bam, just like that. Your hand is here, it twists as it comes out, comes right here. Now balance, I keep saying balance is very important. If you're like switching hands, you wanna make sure that as this hand comes out, this hand comes in. One in, one out, just like that. So I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this, right? They move together, just like that. And that's it, that's your first one. Ta, 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 ta. Your next one, we can do a thrust punch, which is a little bit lower. It doesn't come to your face, it comes down to your solar plexus right here, and it comes out sideways, your thrust punch. So here, pops out just like that. Bam, bam, bam. And hammer strike is one of my favorites because it makes me feel cool. You bring your hand up to your ear and your elbow. It's got to point up just like that. And you use your shoulder, kind of make a circle. And you come down just like that. Now, when you do that, you're not punching with this part of your hand. You're punching down here, kind of where your fist meets your wrist. Hey, that kind of rhymes. Because if you punch up here, you're going to like crunch your hand. That's not fun. Nobody wants to do that. So you hit right there. So if you're in horse stance, bring your elbow up, comes down just like that. And you switch, elbow up, comes down just like that. Elbow up, comes down just like that. And the last thing I'll teach you is called a cross block, right? So if you're here in elbow position, you shoot your hands up, make sure that your palms are facing away from you, just like that. You cross your hands, make sure they're nice and above your head. Because this is like if somebody tries to do that hammer blow on your head, pop them up just like that. But if they're right here, you're not gonna protect yourself from anything. Make sure it's nice and up. And then so like how we get into our horse stances in like traditional karate is we start in a front position. It's like called the 3-move stance. So the first move is here, you bow. Second move is you step out with your right foot into a nice little horse stance. You come to elbow position, you come up into your cross block. And then the third move is you come back to elbow position, you ki-ai, you go, ah-ya! A ki-ai is just like a fun yell. We add it in, we get some flavor, some spirit. It's a great time. So I'll do that all again. number 1, number 2, number 3. Yeah. And then you go into whatever you want to do. So yeah, that's it. That's the basics. I don't know. I think it's pretty fun. I don't know about you guys. But yeah, hope you enjoyed.